Before we start today's video, just a quick reminder that we are still accepting submissions, features, and shorts to our first ever film festival, Horrific Hope. Details are in the descriptions below, and you guys have until February 12th to get your submissions in. The festival itself will be held on April 29th via a digital private server and April 30th at the Alamo Drafthouse in Winchester, Virginia. We would love to see your nightmares. Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to our content, we create content like what you're watching right now simply to educate and engage individuals like yourself on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. My name is Captain Nostalgia. I have the privilege of being a writer, podcaster, events coordinator, and much more here. And today we are talking about The Runner. The Runner is a short film which you guys can stream exclusively starting this Sunday, January 16th on Shudder. The Runner tells the story of a young girl traveling throughout a small town and, hitting up the occasional violent tendencies and impulses, all set to a backdrop of Boy Harsher. The first warning I'm going to say about this is just note that because this is a short film, this video will probably be smaller and will probably not include our traditional mental health moments. That said, this short film is about 40 minutes long, and it is quite literally a commercial for the band Boy Harsher and their upcoming album release of, get this, The Runner soundtrack. I don't know if you're like me, I've never heard of Boy Harsher. There are a plethora of bands that I've never heard of. You can ask our editor-in-chief. I am a very small-minded person sometimes when it comes to music. I love exploring new music, but going out and actually seeking that music, that's a different story. And if you've ever wondered why Victims and Villains doesn't actually ever cover music, it is because music is one of the hardest genres / mediums to actually be objective on. I'm a guy that typically sticks to either metalcore or album scores. You have our editor-in-chief, Cam Smith, who loves music. It is one of his favorite things to do, talk about, and just to pursue. And his most recent spins or rotations that he's seen have been Boston Manor, the Lillingtons, and the new Turnstile album. All three acts that are fairly unique and different in their own rights, but far, far different than anything that I've listed. To give you one more example, here is Micah Kimber, one of the hosts of That's High Praise, a Nicolas Cage podcast. He's been recently spinning Kept on Hold, which is an independent artist, kind of like emo-ish, and then NoFX, straight punk, and then Blaster, the Soundman. Note it is Blaster the Rocket Man. But his favorite band of all time is Flatfoot 56, which is basically Irish music. The whole point I'm trying to make is that music is very difficult to review and stay objective, which is one of the reasons why we have never covered it. And that's one of the reasons that The Runner is such a hard film to look at objectively. Because while I liked the music for Boy Harsher, they have a very 80s synth new wave feel to them. It's very hard to look at a short film that is 90% made up of music. And I'll peel the curtain back a little bit. I actually had forgotten what the narrative was and had to go look up the synopsis on Letterboxd prior to shooting this video. The acting for what we get in this, for the dialogue, is pretty okay. It's nothing special, nothing memorable. The direction can get pretty weird at times, but in that case, it makes that this movie actually kind of memorable. But again, it's also blood-stained in 80s fashion. The pacing is another difficult thing to talk about in this movie, because it's one part telling the story of this girl exploring this small town. One part of it is these music videos for Boy Harsher, and then one part is a documentary that is also talking about the creative process for making the music that you're hearing throughout the movie. The vision of the runner just seems very split. It doesn't understand really what it wants to do, and honestly could be, it feels like a January release. And if you guys are new to our content, if you guys don't understand the significance or of when we say a January release, January is notoriously where studios and independent publishers will just dump content, and it has been known as the cinematic graveyard. It is basically where movies come to die because studios have spent all this money and they need a place to put it. Let's throw it to January. And in some respects, given how convoluted and divided so much of this narrative feels, and so much of the vision for this, it's very easy to believe that that is why we are getting what we're getting here, with it jumping into a mid-January release. And that said, it could have just kind of worked out that way. I could just be reading way too much into it, but I'm going to go ahead and run this through our Rorschach rating scale. This one is going to get a 1 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed the music, but this just felt too much like a music video, not enough like a narrative. It doesn't have any structure. The bedrock to this is just empty. It's void. And while there are good ideas at work here, there's not a film to comprehensively and cohesively talk about. I don't know if you guys like Boy Harsher. Let me know in the comments and what music I should check out by them. Because about halfway through the watching of this film, I said, I probably would love to check out this band. And then by the time that the credits rolled, I kind of loathed this band. Again, the mental health moment for this is stick to the music, stick to the arts, and that boosts your mental health. It's really hard to pull a mental health theme from this movie because of how divided it feels. But if music makes you feel, if music sets your mental health at a good capacity, stick with it. Keep pursuing it. If it's poetry, keep pursuing it. If it's filmmaking, keep pursuing it. If it's podcasting, keep pursuing it. The success and the power of the creative endeavor is both therapeutic and purpose-filled. So that is my thing that I would suggest to you guys, is to keep pursuing this, and make sure to check out our mental health resource library. Links are in the descriptions below. If you guys are watching this on IGTV, link is in the bio. But make sure that you guys check out The Runner when it comes to Shudder, starting January 16th, 2022. And we'll be back this weekend talking about Scream and Belle and loads more things this year. So I hope you guys had a great new year, and can't wait to help you. Can't wait to talk about more movies and stuff with you guys in 2022. Have a good night.